creativity isn't random. It's not a gift, it's a rhythm. The most creative people in the world aren't waiting for inspiration. They're designing environments, rituals, and mental triggers that summon it. The flow state isn't mystical. It's neurological. It's what happens when focus, challenge, and emotion synchronize perfectly. Time disappears. Doubt vanishes. Ideas connect effortlessly. That's not luck. That's brain chemistry working in harmony. In this audiobook, you'll learn how to train your mind to enter that state on command, to shift from distraction to deep focus, from noise to creative clarity. These are the mental patterns, habits, and disciplines of world-class creators. Artists, thinkers, inventors, and innovators who learn to sustain inspiration long after motivation fades. Because creativity doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who work, prepare, and align with their purpose. This isn't just about producing more. It's about creating better, with intention, with flow, and with energy that never burns out. Let's learn how to enter deep focus and endless inspiration, the creative flow state. Chapter 1. The Neurology of Flow. The word flow sounds mystical, something only artists, musicians, or athletes stumble into by accident. But in truth, flow is a biological state, not a magical one. It's the brain's most efficient mode of operation, where focus feels effortless, time dissolves, and creativity flows without friction. If you've ever lost yourself in writing, painting, coding, playing music, or even solving a complex problem, you've tasted this state. Hours pass in what feels like minutes. The inner critic goes silent. You stop thinking about performing and simply perform. That's not luck, it's neurology. And understanding it is the first step to mastering it. Flow is the intersection of two things, challenge and skill. It's the perfect balance between boredom and anxiety. When the task is too easy, your mind drifts. When it's too difficult, your mind panics. But when it's just hard enough, demanding your full attention, but still within reach, the brain locks in. This balance is called the flow channel. In this channel, your skills are stretched to their edge, forcing growth without triggering overwhelm. It's the mental version of a muscle working under the perfect resistance, enough to strengthen, not enough to break. The chemistry of focus and inspiration. Inside your brain, flow is powered by a cocktail of neurochemicals, dopamine, norepinephrine, and anandamide. Together, they create the unmistakable sense of alert calm that defines deep focus and boundless creativity. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation. It's released when you make progress, spot patterns, or pursue meaningful goals. It gives you the thrill of curiosity, that electric feeling of what happens next. In flow, dopamine heightens pattern recognition, making you more creative. You begin connecting ideas that previously felt unrelated. Norepinephrine sharpens attention. It's your brain's adrenaline, but in controlled doses. It amplifies energy, urgency, and awareness. You see details clearly, notice subtleties, and process information faster. Then comes anandamide, a bliss molecule derived from the Sanskrit word ananda, meaning joy or bliss. Anandamide dissolves fear and self-doubt. It silences the inner critic that normally interrupts your creativity with thoughts like, "This isn't good enough," or "What will people think?" In flow, that voice goes quiet, allowing raw creation to take over. Together, these chemicals create a neurobiological symphony, one that merges focus and imagination. You become fully engaged, yet deeply calm. Work feels like play, and effort transforms into expression. The Goldilocks zone of challenge. The gateway to flow isn't motivation or talent. It's difficulty calibration. You have to intentionally set the challenge level so that it's slightly above your current ability. Not so easy that it bores you, not so hard that it defeats you. Just right. Think of a surfer catching a wave. Too small and it's dull. Too big and it's dangerous. but the right wave, the one that demands total focus to ride. That's where flow lives. For creators, this means adjusting your work environment to keep yourself in that Goldilocks zone. If your project feels overwhelming, narrow the scope. Break it into smaller, achievable goals. If it feels repetitive, raise the difficulty. Add a creative twist, a new element, or a higher standard. The key insight is this. Flow isn't about comfort, it's about engagement. The brain enters flow when it feels challenged, not safe. You can't think your way into flow. You have to earn it through the perfect tension between fear and mastery. How flow hijacks time and ego. One of the most fascinating features of flow is time distortion. Minutes can feel like seconds, or hours can disappear entirely. This happens because during flow, the brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for timekeeping and self-conscious thought, temporarily deactivates. Scientists call this phenomenon transient hypofrontality. When that part of your brain goes quiet, two things happen simultaneously. You stop judging yourself. You stop tracking time. The result? You merge with the moment. You're not doing the work anymore. You are the work. This is why artists describe the sensation as being pulled by something larger, and athletes call it being in the zone. But make no mistake, this isn't magic. It's biology optimized for focus. By silencing the self, your brain saves energy and channels it entirely into task execution. It's the neurological equivalent of stepping out of your own way. The 4 stages of flow. Flow isn't a single switch you flip. It's a cycle with 4 distinct stages: struggle, release, flow, and recovery. Struggle. You start with effort, frustration, and resistance. Your brain loads new information and pushes against limits. It feels hard. That's normal. Release. You stop forcing focus. You take a breath, step away, or switch tasks. This relaxation allows your subconscious to take over. Flow. Suddenly, effort disappears. Everything clicks. You're immersed. This is the state of peak performance. Recovery. Afterward, you crash. The neurochemicals dip. You feel tired but satisfied. Recovery is essential to prepare for the next cycle. Understanding these stages prevents disappointment. You realize that frustration isn't failure. It's the first gate of flow. The magic follows once you trust the process. Engineering your environment for flow. Flow doesn't happen in chaos. It requires deliberate design, a structure that removes friction and triggers immersion. Eliminate distractions. Turn off notifications, clear clutter, and silence noise. The brain can't multitask and flow. Set a clear goal. Ambiguity kills focus. Know exactly what you're trying to accomplish in the next 30 to 90 minutes. Work in time blocks. Flow needs uninterrupted space. Give yourself at least 25 to 45 minutes per session. Create sensory anchors. Use consistent cues, same playlist, lighting, or workspace, to train your mind to recognize flow time. Each small tweak makes flow more repeatable. The goal is to reduce randomness and let rhythm take over. The flow mindset. At its core, flow is not about chasing euphoria. It's about surrendering to process. It's the mental alignment of challenge, curiosity, and confidence. You can't force flow, but you can invite it through structure. You can't control when inspiration strikes, but you can engineer the conditions where it's most likely to appear. When you enter flow often enough, it begins to rewire your identity. You stop thinking of creativity as a mood and start treating it as a skill. You learn how to coax your mind into that high-performance state on command. And once you experience it deeply, you realize something powerful. Flow isn't a rare event. It's a trainable pattern. The more you understand its biology, the more you can design your life around it. Because creativity isn't chaos. It's chemistry, aligned, balanced, and perfectly tuned to the rhythm of focus. Flow happens when challenge meets skill. Not too easy, not too hard. In this zone, your brain releases dopamine, norepinephrine, and anandamide, chemicals that enhance focus and imagination. Chapter 2. Clear the noise. Eliminate mental clutter. Creativity is not born in chaos. It's born in clarity. Your brain is not an infinite container. It's more like a stage, and only a few performers can stand on it at once. When that stage is crowded with distractions, unfinished tasks, and digital noise, creativity suffocates. If you've ever sat down to work but felt mentally scattered, your thoughts bouncing from notifications to worries to random memories, that's not lack of talent. It's cognitive overload. Your brain is processing too much irrelevant information to focus on creation. To enter deep creative flow, you must clear the noise, not just physically, but mentally and digitally. Because a clear space isn't about minimalism. It's about mental availability. You can't access creative depth when your attention is splintered. You can't think freely when your mind is full. And you can't produce brilliance when your environment whispers 1,000 distractions at once. So before you seek inspiration, build the conditions for it. You can't create in chaos. The brain needs cognitive space. Step 1. The science of cognitive clutter. Your brain's working memory, the part responsible for focus and problem solving, can only hold a handful of items at a time. Studies show the limit is around 4 to 7 pieces of information. Beyond that, mental performance begins to collapse. That's why clutter, whether physical mess, open browser tabs, or emotional baggage, quietly drains creative power. Each piece of noise claims a tiny share of mental energy. Over time, those micro-drains add up, leaving you with just enough focus to survive, not create. Neurologically, clutter increases cortisol, the stress hormone, which clouds clarity and reduces dopamine, the fuel of motivation and curiosity. That's why messy spaces often trigger procrastination. The brain subconsciously senses overwhelm before the work even starts. But here's the good news. The mind mirrors its environment. Clean your space, and your cognition follows. Declutter your environment, and you declutter your thoughts. Step 2. Declutter physically. Create the creative zone. Start with the tangible. The simplest, fastest way to restore mental focus is to reclaim control over your physical surroundings. Your environment constantly feeds your subconscious. Every object in your field of view silently says, "Remember me." Each stray note, coffee cup, or open notebook is a mental whisper asking for attention. So before every deep work session, clear the desk. Keep only what supports the current task: laptop, notebook, pen, and maybe a drink. Everything else waits outside the frame. Define a creative zone. Dedicate one spot in your room purely for creation. No eating, no scrolling, no random distractions. When you sit there, your brain associates it with focus. Simplify sensory input. Neutral lighting, comfortable posture, consistent scent or sound. These small signals stabilize your mood and prime flow. You don't need sterile minimalism. You need intentional order. Your creative space should whisper calm, not chaos. Because when the world outside you quiets, the world inside you gets louder. Step 3. Declutter digitally. Guard your attention like currency. If physical clutter drains focus, digital clutter obliterates it. Every ping, notification, and open tab is a silent thief of momentum. Your digital life is your mental landscape. Curate it before entering deep work. Close all tabs unrelated to your current project. Keep one tab for research, one for work, nothing else. Silence notifications. Phones, apps, emails, everything waits until your session ends. Use full screen mode. Eliminate temptation by reducing visual noise. Organize digital files. Create clear folders and naming systems so you don't lose energy hunting for resources. Set digital focus zones. Use tools like focus mode, freedom, or site blockers to create enforced silence online. Digital declutter isn't about deleting everything. It's about designing intentional friction. When distractions are just one click away, the willpower cost is constant. When they're out of sight, your energy stays intact. Your screen is your workspace. Treat it like sacred ground. Step 4. Declutter mentally. Create cognitive white space. Even in a clean room and quiet browser, mental clutter can still sabotage focus. Thoughts like, I need to reply to that message. What about that meeting tomorrow? Did I forget to pay that bill? Each one hijacks working memory. To clear this internal noise, use mental offloading. Dump your thoughts on a paper. Write everything you're holding, tasks, worries, reminders. Don't sort, just empty. Capture, don't carry. Use a notebook or digital list to hold future to-dos, freeing your brain to focus on now. Practice 60 seconds of stillness. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize clearing a foggy window. This resets cognitive load. Mental clutter thrives in ambiguity. Once captured and contained, those thoughts lose power. Clarity isn't the absence of thought. It's the organization of attention. Step 5. Protect the clean slate. Clearing clutter once isn't enough. Like dust, it creeps back daily. The goal isn't permanent tidiness. It's maintenance. Before each deep work session, perform a 2-minute reset ritual. Tidy your workspace. Close irrelevant tabs. Silence devices. Write down your focus goal for the session. This short ritual signals to your brain, now we create. You're conditioning a psychological association between order and creativity. Over time, your mind will begin to enter flow automatically after this ritual because the environment cues it. Your workspace becomes a switch. Your clarity becomes reflex. The creative equation, simplicity plus space equals flow. The path to deeper creativity isn't through doing more. It's through removing what doesn't matter. When your space, screens, and thoughts align toward one purpose, you create a vacuum that naturally pulls focus inward. Ideas surface faster. Patterns become visible. Imagination starts to dance. You'll notice how effortless thinking becomes when there's room for it. That's not coincidence. It's cognition unchained. Because a clear environment equals a clear channel for ideas. Step 6. Build your flow sanctuary. If creativity is your temple, your environment is the altar. Build it with intention. Choose colors and lighting that calm you. Add only meaningful items. A quote, a candle, an inspiring photo. Keep your tools within reach, but out of clutter's range. Refresh it weekly. Physical order signals mental renewal. Soon, stepping into this space will feel like stepping into focus itself. You'll sit down, the noise will fade, and your mind will instantly begin to hum. That's when you know you've done it. You've built not just a workspace, but a mental launch pad. You can't create in chaos. The brain needs cognitive space. Declutter physically and digitally before deep work sessions. A clear environment equals a clear channel for ideas. Because creativity doesn't need more input. It needs more room to breathe. Chapter 3. Design your creative rituals. The most creative minds in history, from writers and composers to scientists and entrepreneurs, share one trait. They don't wait for inspiration. They summon it. They don't rely on mood, muse, or motivation. They rely on rituals. A ritual is a trigger, a consistent pattern that tells your brain it's time to focus, it's time to create. It's the invisible bridge between intention and immersion. World-class creators don't wait for inspiration. They start it. They engineer conditions where creativity becomes automatic. When you design creative rituals, you're not just preparing your workspace, you're programming your mind. Step 1. The psychology behind rituals. The human brain loves consistency. It seeks patterns and associations to reduce decision fatigue. When you perform the same series of actions before deep work, your brain begins to connect those actions to the creative state that follows. That's why writers have a favorite pen or desk. Why athletes have pre-game routines. Why musicians rehearse in the same space. Over time, your brain stops waiting for motivation. It learns that the ritual is the signal for creativity. In neuroscience, this process is called context-dependent memory. It means that certain environments or routines automatically trigger specific mental states. When your brain recognizes the ritual, it retrieves the creative mindset that belongs to it. Think of it like unlocking a door in your mind. Same key, same sequence every time. When you design your ritual, you're crafting that key deliberately. Step 2. Build your pre-work ritual. The best rituals are simple, sensory, and repeatable. They don't drain your energy, they direct it. Here's how to design one that fits you. Same place. Choose a single spot for your deep creative work, one that becomes your sanctuary. Over time, your brain associates that space with focus. When you enter it, distractions start to fade automatically. Same time, try to work within a consistent window each day. The brain loves rhythm. When you create at the same time, you align your biological clock with your creative clock. Same cue. Anchor your sessions with a ritual cue, something small that signals flow mode has begun. Examples: lighting a candle or dimming lights, pressing play on your focus playlist, brewing a specific tea or coffee, writing your goal for the session on a sticky note. Same sequence. The order matters. The brain remembers sequences more than single actions. Example: sit, breathe deeply, start playlist, open notebook, begin. It doesn't matter how long the ritual takes. What matters is consistency. The goal is to build a frictionless bridge from distraction to depth. Rituals are not superstition. They're structure disguised as simplicity. Step 3. Use sensory anchors. Your 5 senses are powerful tools for programming your creative state. By linking sensory cues to your ritual, you teach your body to enter focus automatically. Smell: a specific candle, incense, or essential oil can become a mental flow scent. Sound: play the same playlist or ambient track during every session. Eventually, your brain will associate that soundscape with deep work. Touch: use a consistent tactile cue, the feel of a certain pen, keyboard, or notebook. Sight: keep visual clutter low but meaningful. A clean workspace, inspiring quote, or focused lighting can anchor your attention. Taste: something simple, a sip of coffee, mint, or herbal tea, to mark the beginning of the session. Each sense is a switch. When you activate them in combination, you create a multi-sensory signal that tells your brain, this is where we create. The more you repeat the same cues, the faster your mind slips into flow. Step 4. Transition rituals. How to enter flow faster. Creativity thrives on momentum. But the hardest part of any session is starting. A well-designed ritual bridges that gap. After you've completed your pre-work sequence, perform a transition ritual, a short, deliberate action that shifts your attention fully into creation. Examples: writing a single line, today I'm exploring, to start your session. Setting a timer for your first 25-minute sprint, chapter 5 principle. Drawing or sketching for 2 minutes to loosen mental tension. Reading 1 page of something inspiring before diving in. This small transition breaks inertia. It signals to the brain, we've crossed the threshold. Now we're inside the creative zone. Once you've done it often enough, this ritual becomes Pavlovian. You'll start entering flow almost on command. Step 5. Guard the ritual, no compromise. Here's the secret. Rituals only work when they're non-negotiable. The moment you start skipping or changing them randomly, their psychological power weakens. Even on days when you're tired, uninspired, or distracted, perform the ritual, even if you don't feel like working afterward. Because it's not just about the output, it's about maintaining the identity of someone who starts. Over time, the ritual itself becomes the reward. The calm of setting up, the sound of your playlist, the feeling of sitting in your space. It becomes your daily mental reset. And when creativity feels heavy, the ritual will carry you. Step 6. Reflect and refine. Every creator's rhythm is different. The ritual that works for a musician might not work for a designer or writer. The key is to treat it like an evolving system. Every few weeks, ask yourself, what part of my ritual consistently pulls me into focus fastest? What feels forced or unnecessary? What environmental cues help me most? Then refine, simplify, personalize. The goal isn't perfection, it's predictability. Your ritual should feel natural, automatic, and energizing. When it does, you'll find yourself entering flow without even realizing it. Step 7. Turn rituals into rhythm. The real magic happens when your ritual becomes part of your lifestyle rhythm. You wake up, follow your sequence, and your brain simply knows, this is what we do. That rhythm builds trust with yourself. You no longer depend on willpower to create. You depend on pattern. And pattern breeds reliability. The same ritual that starts your day can also end it. After every creative session, perform a short cool-down ritual. Save your work. Reflect on one thing that went well. Shut down your workspace intentionally. This signals closure and satisfaction, the mental equivalent of exhaling. It preserves your energy for the next session and tells your mind, you've done your part today. The creative ritual formula. Same place. Anchor creativity in a specific location. Same cue. A consistent trigger, sound, smell, or object. Same sequence. A repeatable start pattern. Sensory anchors. Multi-sensory signals for focus. Transition ritual. A small action to begin the flow state. Cool down ritual. A closure routine for energy renewal. Repeat these steps daily until your ritual becomes identity, not habit. World-class creators don't wait for inspiration. They start it. Build pre-work rituals. Same place, same playlist, same cue. Rituals tell the brain, it's time to enter flow. Because creativity isn't chaos, it's choreography. Chapter 4. Enter deep focus, training attention as a skill. Creativity doesn't come from constant stimulation. It comes from sustained attention. Every great idea, masterpiece, or invention was born from someone's ability to stay with one thought long enough to transform it. Attention isn't just a function of the mind. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it weakens with distraction and strengthens with deliberate training. In an age of endless notifications and multitasking, deep focus is no longer a luxury. It's a competitive advantage. The ability to focus on one thing for long stretches has become one of the rarest and most profitable skills in the world. Attention is the gateway to creativity, because the depth of your focus determines the depth of your work. Step 1. The science of attention. The brain's focus system is governed by a structure called the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for concentration, decision-making, and impulse control. When you multitask, you're not actually doing multiple things at once. You're rapidly switching tasks, forcing the brain to refocus repeatedly. Every switch costs energy. Every notification, ping, or tab change burns glucose and attention. This constant switching creates what neuroscientists call attention residue, a leftover trace of the previous task that lingers and slows your thinking. That's why after answering one quick message, you lose the thread of your creative thought. Your brain is still stuck in the last context, unable to fully re-enter the flow you just left. True creativity requires undivided attention, and undivided attention requires training, because modern life trains the opposite. Step 2. The power of single tasking. Most people underestimate how fragmented their attention really is. They write while scrolling, brainstorm while checking emails, and research while bouncing between 10 open tabs. But creativity is not a split process, it's a deep one. When you single task, you reclaim control over your brain's processing power. You give every neuron one direction instead of scattering energy across distractions. The rule is simple. One project, one tab, one objective. When you write, only write. When you design, only design. When you research, only research. Every time you complete one unit of focus without switching, you strengthen the neural circuits responsible for sustained attention. It's like resistance training for the mind. Each repetition builds mental endurance. The longer you can stay present with a single idea, the more complex and original your ideas become. Because depth requires exclusivity. Step 3. The 90-minute deep work block. To train attention, you must design your time around immersion, not interruption. The human brain can sustain deep focus for about 90 minutes before attention starts to fade. This rhythm, known as an ultradian cycle, alternates between high focus and natural rest periods. So instead of forcing endless hours, work in 90-minute focus blocks, long enough for full creative absorption, short enough to preserve stamina. Here's how to structure it. Preparation, 5 to 10 minutes. Eliminate distractions, phones, tabs, noise. Review your goal, one clear outcome for the session. Perform your pre-work ritual, Chapter 3. Deep focus, 70 to 80 minutes. No switching, no scrolling, no second thoughts. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back, like a meditation rep. Immerse fully in a single problem or creative act. Cool down 5 to 10 minutes. Reflect. What did I complete? What's next? Record small wins in your progress log. Step away, walk, breathe, or stretch. After each block, take a 15 to 20-minute break to reset your brain's chemistry. This rest period is crucial. It clears attention residue and restores energy for the next cycle. Set 90-minute blocks, long enough for immersion, short enough for stamina. Step 4. Train focus like an athlete. You don't become focused by reading about focus. You build it through practice. Treat attention like physical conditioning. Short, intense sessions that gradually expand your capacity. Start with what you can sustain. If 90 minutes feels too long, begin with 25 to 40-minute sprints, Pomodoro style. As your concentration strengthens, extend your intervals. Consistency is more important than duration. 10 consecutive days of focused 45-minute sessions will train your attention more effectively than one marathon day of scattered work. Over time, your brain learns to associate your rituals, environment, and timing with deep engagement. You'll reach the point where entering focus feels as natural as breathing because you've conditioned it. Step 5. Protect your focus from modern traps. Deep work requires boundaries. Every distraction is an invitation to shallow thinking. To guard your focus, silence notifications. The sound of an alert can delay your mental recovery by up to 20 minutes. Use full screen mode. Eliminate digital clutter and visual noise. Batch shallow tasks. Check messages, emails, and updates in one fixed block per day, never between creative sessions. Control your environment. Choose spaces designed for stillness, not stimulation. Schedule focus, don't find it. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. Attention is finite. Every quick check costs you more than you think. Your goal isn't to be constantly focused. It's to protect the windows where focus matters most. Step 6. Master micro-refocusing. Even trained minds drift. The secret isn't to stay focused forever. It's to return quickly. When you notice your mind wandering, pause without judgment. Label the distraction, thinking, planning, remembering. Gently bring your focus back to the task. Each time you do this, you're rewiring your brain for control. You're teaching it that focus isn't lost, it's reclaimable. This practice, borrowed from mindfulness training, helps creators extend their focus without frustration. The goal is not constant concentration, but flexible concentration, the ability to recover instantly from drift. Step 7. Recognize the signs of flow. When you train attention long enough, you start to feel the edges blur. The boundary between you and your work dissolves. You'll notice time fades, self-judgment quiets, focus becomes effortless. You're not thinking about creating, you're simply creating. This is the flow state, not an accident, but the result of trained attention. You've built the mental stability required to sustain creativity long enough for inspiration to take over. The deep focus framework. Single task, one project, one tab, one goal. Structure, 90-minute blocks with rest periods. Environment, minimal, distraction-free, intentional. Practice, train focus daily like a muscle. Recovery, respect rest. It refuels concentration. Attention is the gateway to creativity. Use single tasking. One project, one tab, one objective. Set 90-minute blocks. Long enough for immersion, short enough for stamina. Because creativity isn't born from chaos. It's born from stillness deep enough for genius to surface. Focus isn't a talent. It's a discipline. The one that turns ideas into masterpieces. Chapter 5. Harness challenge. Push past comfort. Every great creative breakthrough happens at the edge, that narrow space between what feels possible and what feels impossible. It's where your skills are tested, where your certainty wavers, and where your potential expands. That's where flow lives, not in comfort, but in challenge. Your brain doesn't enter deep focus when things are easy. It enters flow when the task demands your full capacity, when it's just hard enough to stretch you without breaking you. That's the secret of every world-class creator. They live at the frontier of their abilities. They understand that comfort kills creativity, and that challenge is not an obstacle. It's a signal that growth has arrived. Flow thrives at the edge of ability. Step 1. The challenge, skill balance. The foundation of flow lies in the balance between challenge and skill, a concept first identified by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the pioneer of flow research. When the challenge of a task is too low compared to your skill, you feel boredom. When it's too high, you feel anxiety or paralysis. But when challenge and skill align, when the task stretches you just beyond your comfort zone, your brain releases the perfect cocktail of focus chemicals, dopamine, norepinephrine, and anandamide. That's the sweet spot of flow. Your mission as a creator is to live there, just beyond mastery, but short of chaos. The most effective way to reach it is through gradual stretching, small, steady increases in difficulty that keep you alert, engaged, and evolving. Increase difficulty gradually. Small stretch goals keep engagement high. Step 2. The neuroscience of challenge. Challenge triggers growth because it activates your dopaminergic reward system, the circuitry responsible for motivation and learning. When your brain senses that a goal is hard but attainable, it releases dopamine to energize pursuit. This is why solving a tough problem or finishing a demanding project feels deeply satisfying. You've earned that chemical reward. But here's the key. The brain doesn't release dopamine for outcomes. It releases it for progress. That means the trick to sustaining creativity is not chasing perfection, but tracking small wins along the climb. As long as your work keeps nudging your abilities upward, one new brushstroke, one better sentence, one cleaner design, your brain keeps feeding you the focus fuel of flow. This biological feedback loop is how challenge becomes addictive in a healthy way. Step 3. The stretch zone method. To use challenge intentionally, apply the 10% rule of growth. Each session, increase the difficulty of your task by roughly 10% beyond what feels comfortable. That might mean adding a new constraint to a project, e.g., shorter deadline, fewer tools. Tackling a slightly more complex concept. Performing in front of an audience instead of alone. Solving a problem without your usual shortcuts. The goal isn't massive leaps, it's microevolution. A 10% stretch keeps you engaged but not overwhelmed. It maintains focus by preventing complacency, while still giving your brain a clear sense of progress. Over time, those small expansions compound into exponential growth because every time you adapt, your baseline ability rises. Step 4. Learn to love discomfort. The reason most people never reach deep flow is because they run from discomfort. They interpret challenge as a sign to stop rather than as a sign to grow. But every creative field, from painting to programming to entrepreneurship, follows the same truth. Comfort is the enemy of innovation. Comfort breeds routine. Routine breeds stagnation. And stagnation kills creative hunger. To become exceptional, you must flip your emotional response to discomfort. Instead of seeing it as danger, train yourself to recognize it as data, a signal that you're expanding your capacity. When you feel resistance, it doesn't mean back off. It means you've reached the growth zone. Say to yourself, this feeling of struggle means I'm right where I need to be. Every discomfort is an invitation. Every challenge is a teacher. Step 5. Build micro-challenges into your routine. Don't wait for external challenges. Create your own. The world's most creative people are self-engineered for growth. They design their processes to keep their skills sharp and curiosity alive. Here are practical ways to integrate challenge into daily creation. Time pressure. Shorten your working window slightly. Deadlines sharpen focus. Constraint creation. Limit tools or colors, restrict word count, or impose rules that force originality. Public sharing. Post your work regularly. The social pressure to deliver keeps standards high. Feedback loops. Seek critiques, not compliments. Growth lives in correction. Experimentation days. Schedule sessions where failure is the goal. To discover, not to perfect. These small frictions create urgency, intensity, and novelty. The exact conditions flow needs to thrive. Remember, flow doesn't emerge from routine repetition. It emerges from creative evolution. Step 6. Avoid overload. Challenge without collapse. There's a fine line between challenge and chaos. Push too far, and your focus fractures under pressure. To avoid overwhelm, break large challenges into smaller, sequential steps. Celebrate small wins to maintain motivation. Build recovery periods after deep effort. See Chapter 9. Track your energy levels. If focus feels forced, pull back slightly. Flow is not about constant struggle. It's about sustainable stretch. You want to feel stimulated, not suffocated. The goal is to train at the edge, not fall off it. Step 7. Reframe failure as feedback. When you push your limits, failure is inevitable. But in flow psychology, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the raw material for it. Each setback is information. It shows you where the edge of your current ability lies. By analyzing that failure and adjusting, you expand the edge further. So instead of avoiding mistakes, use them as maps. Each wrong turn points toward the next refinement. Each difficulty teaches resilience, adaptability, and creativity. The world's top creators don't fear failure because they've trained to interpret it correctly, as data, not defeat. Step 8. The flow loop of challenge. When you combine all these elements, challenge becomes a self-renewing engine of growth. Choose a goal just beyond comfort. Enter deep focus to tackle it. Experience flow as you progress. Hit friction, reflect, and refine. Raise the bar slightly. Repeat this loop daily, and your creative ceiling becomes limitless. Flow feeds on progress, not perfection. Every small challenge you overcome compounds into a lifetime of effortless mastery. The challenge framework. Balance. Match challenge to skill, slightly above comfort. Stretch. Raise difficulty 10% each time. Reframe. View discomfort as a sign of growth. Refine. Break challenges down when overwhelmed. Repeat. Loop progress through reflection and adjustment. Flow thrives at the edge of ability. Increase difficulty gradually. Small stretch goals keep engagement high. Comfort kills creativity. Challenge reawakens it. Chapter 6. Silence your inner critic. The greatest threat to creativity isn't failure, it's self-judgment. You're not stopped by lack of talent, resources, or even time. You're stopped by the voice in your head whispering, "This isn't good enough." That voice, the inner critic, is the enemy of flow. It interrupts your rhythm, questions your instincts, and replaces momentum with self-doubt. You can't enter creative freedom while constantly monitoring your every move. Flow requires trust, a surrender to process, not perfection. When you overanalyze while creating, you split your focus. One part of your mind tries to express, while the other tries to evaluate. That's like driving with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. Motion becomes jerky, hesitant, unnatural. In neuroscience, this conflict is called self-surveillance. It activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-monitoring and judgment, which is the opposite of what you want in flow. To create deeply, you must turn that system off. Perfectionism blocks flow by triggering self-surveillance. In the flow state, creation and critique must be separated. Step 1. Understand the two creative modes. Your creative mind operates in two completely different gears. The maker, spontaneous, intuitive, emotional. The editor, analytical, structured, precise. Both are essential, but they cannot coexist in real time. When you try to make and edit simultaneously, the result is paralysis, endless rewriting, rethinking, and rechecking instead of creating. Flow belongs to the maker. Precision belongs to the editor. If you want your work to feel alive, you must give each role its own time. During creation, silence the inner critic. Let ideas spill raw and unfiltered. During editing, invite the critic back, sharpen the details, refine the edges. Try to merge the two is like blending music and math in the same breath. Both lose their magic. Write first, judge later. Create freely, edit fearlessly afterward. Step 2. The neuroscience of silence. When you enter flow, your prefrontal cortex, the seat of self-awareness and judgment, temporarily deactivates in a phenomenon called transient hypofrontality. That's why time disappears, your sense of self fades, and ideas seem to come from somewhere beyond you. It's not mysticism, it's neurochemistry. Your brain is literally shutting down the voice that asks, "Am I doing this right?" But the moment you start judging your work mid-process, you reactivate that region, breaking the flow instantly. That's why perfectionists rarely experience creative immersion. Their attention is trapped in constant self-evaluation. The goal isn't to eliminate the critic, it's to time it correctly. You need the analytical brain to polish brilliance, but not to produce it. Step 3. Train the create, then refine habit. To separate creation and critique, build a two-phase habit. Phase 1, creation mode. Set a timer for 30 to 60 minutes. No backspacing, no editing, no self-judgment. Your only goal, output. Get out of your head and onto the canvas, page, or screen. During this phase, speed is your ally. You're trying to outrun your inner critic, to generate momentum so strong it leaves doubt behind. Phase 2, refinement mode. Take a short break, then return with fresh eyes. Now, switch into analytical mode. Cut, edit, and polish. Treat your earlier draft as raw material, not a reflection of worth. This two-step rhythm is how professionals create consistently. They don't wait for inspiration. They create it, first freely, then fearlessly. Every masterpiece started as a mess someone had the courage to make. Step 4. Reprogram your inner language. The inner critic speaks through language, phrases that sound rational but are rooted in fear. This isn't ready yet. I'm not good enough. It has to be perfect before I share it. Replace those with neutral, empowering commands. This is a draft. I can improve it later. Let's see what happens. Language reprograms belief. When you change the way you talk to yourself, you change the way your brain interprets risk. The mind follows the words it hears most. Make them serve your creativity, not sabotage it. Step 5. Create psychological safety. Your inner critic thrives in fear. Fear of judgment, rejection, or failure. To silence it, create an environment where mistakes feel safe. Private sessions. Work offline or in private drafts where no one can see your process. Progress over perfection. Set goals like finish the draft, not make it flawless. Normalize mess. Keep a bad ideas folder or sketchbook to remind yourself that quantity breeds quality. Celebrate attempts. Every imperfect piece is proof you're creating, not waiting. Creativity grows in permission, not perfection. Give yourself the same compassion you'd give a friend learning something new. Step 6. Learn the art of emotional distance. To truly silence the critic, detach your self-worth from your output. You're not your art. You're the artist. When you over-identify with your work, every flaw feels personal. Every critique feels like an attack. But when you see your creation as an evolving project, mistakes become opportunities, not threats. Adopt the mindset of scientists. Experiment, observe, iterate. Failure is data. Rejection is feedback. Detach ego from creation, and the critic loses its leverage. Step 7. Practice fearless creation daily. The more often you enter creation mode without interference, the easier it becomes to silence judgment. Flow strengthens with repetition. Every uninterrupted session trains your mind to bypass doubt faster. Start each creative session with this mantra. Today I create, not critique. Then, when the voice of perfectionism tries to speak, smile at it and say, "You'll get your turn later." That simple boundary builds an inner system where both creation and refinement coexist peacefully, but never simultaneously. Step 8. Redefine perfection. Perfection is not flawlessness, it's completeness. Something is perfect when it has fulfilled its purpose, not when it's beyond improvement. The point of art, writing, or innovation isn't to make it immune to criticism, it's to make it alive. And life itself is imperfect, dynamic, full of rough edges. The work that moves people isn't flawless, it's honest. Let that truth liberate you. The anti-critic framework. Understand the two modes: maker, create, and editor, refine. Separate phases. No editing while creating. Use language that empowers. Create psychological safety. Detach ego from output. Define perfection as completion, not flawlessness. Perfectionism blocks flow by triggering self-surveillance. In the flow state, creation and critique must be separated. Write first, judge later. Create freely, edit fearlessly afterward. Because creativity isn't about being flawless. It's about being fearless. Silence the critic. Set your art free, and you'll rediscover the joy of creating like a child again. Unfiltered, unafraid, unstoppable. Chapter 7. Energy Management. Fuel your flow. Flow is a high-performance state, and high performance always comes with an energy cost. Your brain is a biological machine that burns through more energy than any other organ in your body. It consumes nearly 20% of your daily fuel, even though it's only about 2% of your body weight. When you enter flow, your mind runs at peak speed, heightened focus, accelerated pattern recognition, amplified creativity. But that intensity drains your energy reserves fast. If you don't replenish them, focus collapses, creativity stalls, and burnout follows. Flow burns energy quickly. Your brain needs fuel. Because creativity is not just mental, it's metabolic. To sustain deep work and inspiration over time, you must manage your energy like an elite athlete through sleep, hydration, sunlight, and movement. These are not luxuries. They're the foundation of flow. Step 1. The physiology of flow. Flow feels psychological, but it's powered by biology. Every creative insight, every deep focus session, every surge of inspiration depends on the stability of your neurochemistry. When you're rested, hydrated, and oxygenated, your brain's neurotransmitters, dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, operate in perfect rhythm. You think clearer, process faster, and sustain immersion longer. But when your body is deprived of sleep, nutrients, or movement, those same chemicals destabilize. Your attention shatters, motivation drops, and creativity becomes inconsistent. The truth is simple. The mind follows the body. Creative excellence is a physiological state first, and a psychological one second. So before you demand brilliance from your brain, fuel it like it deserves to perform. Step 2. Sleep, the ultimate flow trigger. If there's one habit that amplifies every aspect of focus and creativity, it's sleep. Sleep isn't rest, it's recovery and rewiring. During deep sleep, your brain consolidates memories, cleans out toxins, and recharges neurotransmitters essential for creativity. During REM sleep, your subconscious connects distant ideas, literally creating new neural links that lead to aha moments the next day. That's why many creators wake up with fresh ideas after rest. Sleep is your most powerful creative collaborator. To optimize sleep for flow, keep consistent sleep hours. Your brain loves rhythm. Irregular sleep disrupts neurochemistry. Avoid screens 60 minutes before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin and delays REM. Lower temperature and light. Darkness signals the body to produce sleep hormones. Don't sacrifice sleep for productivity. You're not buying more time. You're borrowing it from tomorrow's clarity. A rested brain is a focused brain, and a focused brain is where flow begins. Step 3. Hydration, the forgotten fuel. Even mild dehydration, as little as 2% loss of body water, can reduce focus, reaction time, and cognitive performance. Water isn't optional. It's the medium your brain operates in. Neurons communicate through electrical signals carried in fluid. When hydration drops, your brain's electrical efficiency drops with it. You start to feel foggy, distracted, or irritable, the silent killers of flow. To stay hydrated for peak creativity, drink a full glass of water right after waking. Keep water within reach during deep work sessions. Add electrolytes if you're working long hours or sweating often. Limit excessive caffeine. It boosts energy briefly, but dehydrates long-term. You can't think sharply if your brain is dry. Hydration is the simplest performance enhancer in the world. Step 4. Sunlight, nature's cognitive switch. Sunlight regulates your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that controls your energy, mood, and alertness. Getting just 10 to 15 minutes of natural light within the first hour of waking increases serotonin and stabilizes dopamine levels, which directly boost motivation and creative drive. It's also a powerful antidepressant. Sunlight lowers cortisol and enhances your body's sense of wakefulness. Make it a ritual. Step outside early every morning, even for a few minutes. Keep your workspace near a window if possible. Use warm, bright lighting during the day and dim, soft lighting in the evening. Light signals energy. Darkness signals recovery. Both are essential to maintain creative rhythm. Sunlight isn't just mood lighting, it's mental wiring. Step 5. Movement, the spark of flow. A stagnant body breeds a stagnant mind. Movement is one of the fastest ways to regulate energy, reduce stress, and trigger focus chemicals like dopamine and norepinephrine. You don't need intense workouts. You need consistent motion. Even a 5 to 10 minute walk between sessions can dramatically increase cognitive clarity. Physical activity floods your brain with oxygen and nutrients while reducing cortisol, the stress hormone that blocks flow, that hears how to integrate movement into your creative life. Micro breaks, stand, stretch, or walk every 60 to 90 minutes. Pre-flow ritual. Try light exercise before work, yoga, breathing, or push-ups. It signals your body to shift into focus mode at end-of-day release. Move again after long sessions to discharge mental residue. Remember, motion creates emotion. When your body is energized, your mind becomes magnetic. Step 6. Nutrition. Feeding focus. Food is more than fuel. It's neurochemical programming. The wrong food spike your energy and crash it. The right food stabilize it for hours, for sustained focus and creativity. Favor complex carbs, oats, quinoa, fruit, over sugar spikes. Prioritize omega-3 fats, fish, nuts, flaxseed. They enhance brain cell communication. Eat lean proteins, eggs, legumes, tofu, for steady dopamine production. Avoid heavy, greasy meals during creative hours. Digestion competes with focus for blood flow. Think of food as your creative toolkit. Eat for clarity, not comfort. Step 7. Rest and rhythm. The balance behind flow. Flow is not a constant state, it's a rhythm. The mind operates in cycles of deep engagement and necessary recovery. Ignore those cycles, and your performance will crash. That's why recovery is not optional. It's part of the process. You need balance between push and pause. After every deep work session, take a short recovery window, walk, stretch, or rest. After days of intense creative output, schedule recovery days with no demands. Flow doesn't thrive on endless drive. It thrives on oscillation. You push hard, then pull back. You focus deeply, then recharge deliberately. This rhythm mirrors the way your nervous system naturally works, alternating between sympathetic activation, focus, and parasympathetic recovery, relaxation. Master that cycle, and you master energy itself. Step 8. Design your energy rituals. Just like you built creative rituals, Chapter 3, build energy rituals, daily actions that keep your body aligned with your creative goals. Morning ritual, sunlight, hydration, movement, and breakfast rich in protein and complex carbs. Midday reset, stretch, walk, or take 10 deep breaths to release tension. Evening ritual, disconnect from screens, dim lights, and prepare your mind for rest. These small rituals maintain stability, so your creative energy becomes sustainable, not sporadic. The Energy Flow Framework. Sleep deeply. Recharge your creativity overnight. Hydrate consistently. Fuel the brain's chemistry. Seek sunlight. Stabilize focus and motivation. Move often. Activate mind-body synergy. Eat clean. Stabilize energy. Avoid crashes. Respect rhythm. Recovery equals progress. Flow burns energy quickly. Your brain needs fuel. Prioritize sleep, hydration, sunlight, and movement. They control your neural performance. The mind follows the body. Creative power requires physical stability. Because brilliance isn't born from burnout. It's born from balance. Fuel your body, and your mind will follow. That's how you keep inspiration not as a spark, but as a steady, unstoppable flame. Chapter 8. Learn to reset. Recovery is creative. The myth of constant productivity is one of the biggest enemies of true creativity. We glorify endless hustle, long hours, and the idea that real creators never stop. But the truth is, no mind can stay in flow forever. You can't stay in flow indefinitely. Cycles of rest are required. Even the most powerful creative states run on biological limits. Every intense period of focus burns through neurotransmitters, glucose, and mental stamina. If you don't pause, your brain begins to slip, clarity turns to clutter, energy turns to irritation, and inspiration turns to exhaustion. Recovery isn't the opposite of work. It's part of it. The best creators in the world know this secret. They don't just work deeply. They recover deliberately. Because in the space between sprints, in the stillness, the pause, the walk, the silence, ideas begin to reconnect beneath the surface. Recovery isn't wasted time, it's creative incubation. Step 1. The science of creative recovery. When you're in flow, your brain is in an intensely energetic state. It floods itself with dopamine, norepinephrine, and anandamide, neurotransmitters that heighten focus and creativity. But like any fuel, these chemicals eventually deplete. As they fade, your body needs time to rebuild the balance. That's why after a few hours of deep focus, you hit a wall, your energy crashes, ideas blur, motivation dips. That's not laziness. That's neurobiology asking for a reset. If you try to push through that wall, performance declines sharply. Mistakes increase. Creativity collapses. Burnout begins. But if you honor the recovery cycle, something powerful happens. Your subconscious mind, freed from conscious pressure, begins to process everything you were working on. It connects fragments, fills gaps, and generates insights while you rest. This is called creative incubation. It's why breakthroughs often happen after you stop thinking, in a shower, on a walk, or while lying in bed. Your best ideas aren't born during effort. They're revealed during rest. Step 2. The flow rest cycle. Think of creativity as a heartbeat, expansion and contraction. Flow is the heartbeat's push, and recovery is its pulse. You need both for rhythm, both for life. After every deep creative session, 60 to 90 minutes, schedule a recovery block. This is not wasted downtime. It's active restoration. Examples: short breaks, 10 to 20 minutes, step outside, stretch, or breathe deeply. Medium breaks, 1 to 2 hours, take a walk, cook a meal, or listen to music. Major breaks, a day or weekend, disconnect completely. Spend time in nature, away from screens, and let your mind defragment. When you design recovery into your day, you prevent burnout before it starts. You don't have to collapse to rest. You can plan it. Step 3. Nature, the original reset button. Nature is the most powerful recovery tool you'll ever find, and it's free. Just 20 minutes outdoors has been shown to reduce cortisol levels, restore attention, and increase alpha brain waves. The same relaxed, focused pattern seen in meditation and flow. Why? Because the natural world triggers soft fascination, a state where your attention drifts gently without demand. This allows your conscious mind to rest while your subconscious integrates and recharges. So between creative sessions, take a nature walk. Look at trees, water, sky. Even a park bench or open window helps. You'll return to your work lighter, sharper, and quieter inside. Step 4. Music and silence, two opposite medicines. Both music and silence can reset your brain. The key is knowing when to use each. Music helps when your energy feels dull or heavy. It resets emotional tone, boosts dopamine, and reawakens mood. Choose music without lyrics or with rhythms that match your heartbeat. Ambient, classical, or instrumental. Silence, on the other hand, repairs overstimulation. In silence, the mind exhales. The constant sensory input finally fades, giving your brain space to process and recover. Try this. After a deep session, sit quietly for 5 minutes. No phone, no conversation, no stimulation. Just breathe. You'll feel your mind start to settle, like dust falling in still water. That stillness is not emptiness, it's integration. Step 5. Sleep, the deep reset. If daily breaks are micro-recoveries, sleep is your full system reboot. During deep sleep, your brain consolidates learning, strengthens memory, and resets neurotransmitters depleted during flow. But the creative magic happens during REM sleep. In REM, your subconscious mind processes patterns from the day, blending logic and imagination in ways your waking mind never could. That's why dreams often contain insight, symbolism, or even solutions to complex problems. A rested brain doesn't just think better, it creates better. Guard your sleep like your greatest asset, because it is. Step 6. Active recovery rituals. Recovery doesn't mean laziness. The best rest is active. Activities that rejuvenate your energy without draining it. Here are proven recovery practices for creators. Walking meditation. Move slowly, breathe deeply. Notice sensations, let thoughts come and go. Stretching or yoga. Physical release unclogs mental tension. Journaling. Capture reflections without structure. Let your thoughts land freely. Mindful eating. Eat slowly, savor texture, and reconnect with the body. Digital detox. Step away from screens for an hour a day or 1 day a week. Each of these rituals teaches your brain one truth. Slowing down is not falling behind. Step 7. The paradox of recovery. Why doing nothing creates everything. In our productivity-obsessed culture, rest feels like guilt. We equate stillness with stagnation, as if stepping back means losing progress. But neuroscience tells the opposite story. When you stop consciously working, your default mode network, the brain's creative engine, activates. This network is responsible for imagination, problem-solving, and emotional processing. That's why insights often arrive when you least expect them, because when the conscious mind relaxes, the subconscious mind speaks. So the next time you're stuck, don't force it. Walk away. Breathe. Let your mind drift. You're not quitting, you're incubating. The solution is already forming in the background. Step 8. Design your reset routine. To sustain long-term creative power, make recovery a built-in part of your process. Here's a simple framework. Daily, work in 90-minute focused blocks. Follow each with a 10 to 20-minute walk or silence break. Weekly, take 1 full day off screens and tasks. Do something physically grounding, hike, stretch, cook, or rest. Quarterly, plan a creative retreat. A few days away from your usual environment to recharge and reflect. These resets aren't indulgence. They're maintenance. They keep your creative system clean, balanced, and ready to perform again. The flow recovery equation. Focus drains energy. Recovery restores it. Rest is not a pause. It's preparation. Without cycles, there is collapse. You can't stay in flow indefinitely. Cycles of rest are required. Use breaks strategically. Nature walks, music, silence. Recovery isn't wasted time. It's creative incubation. Chapter 9. Use emotions as energy. Emotions are not distractions. They are data. Every feeling you experience, from anger to joy, from fear to fascination, carries raw energy. That energy can destroy focus if misused, or fuel creativity if harnessed. The greatest creators, thinkers, and innovators all share one truth. They don't suppress emotion. They transmute it. They understand that emotional intensity, when directed through purpose, becomes creative electricity. Every emotion carries creative data: anger, curiosity, sadness, joy. Instead of suppressing emotion, channel it into work. Because emotion gives art its edge and thought its originality. Step 1. The creative power of emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. It's your body's chemical response to meaning, a signal that something matters. When you feel deeply, it's your nervous system saying, pay attention. In neuroscience, emotion acts as the ignition switch for focus and memory. The amygdala, the brain's emotional hub, tags experiences as important, while dopamine and adrenaline enhance alertness and motivation. That means emotion doesn't block logic. It amplifies it. Your brain literally learns and creates faster when you're emotionally engaged. The problem isn't feeling, it's misdirected feeling. When emotion spirals inward into rumination, it becomes paralysis. When it's directed outward into creation, it becomes art, innovation, and truth. Emotion is not the enemy of reason. It's the fuel of expression. Step 2. Identify emotional triggers. Decode the signal. Every emotion is a message. Instead of suppressing it, ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Anger points to violated values or unmet needs. Fear signals uncertainty or the desire for protection. Sadness reflects loss, reflection, or compassion. Curiosity sparks exploration and learning. Joy signals alignment. You're doing what feels right. These are not random moods. They're maps. When you learn to interpret them, you can use their direction instead of drowning in their intensity. Ask yourself, what's the story behind this feeling? How can this emotion guide my next move? By decoding emotion, you turn reactivity into insight and insight into creation. Step 3. Channel emotion into creation. Once you understand your emotional state, the next step is to convert it into output. Creation is the most efficient way to process emotion, to give it structure, shape, and purpose. Here's how. Use anger for momentum. Channel frustration and emotion. Write, move, design, or solve. Anger fuels action. It wants movement. Use sadness for depth. Sadness slows the world down, allowing reflection. Pour into writing, music, or introspective work. It adds empathy and honesty. Use curiosity for exploration. Follow the questions that light you up. Curiosity drives discovery and play. Use joy for expansion. When inspired, push boundaries. Create boldly. Share your energy. Joy amplifies creativity through openness. The goal isn't to feel better before you create. It's to create your way through what you feel. Emotion becomes purpose when it moves through your craft. Step 4. Don't suppress, subtract noise. Suppressing emotion doesn't erase it. It buries it alive. And buried emotions leak out as procrastination, burnout, or creative block. Flow requires emotional honesty. The more you try to hide what you feel, the more mental energy you waste managing that suppression. But there's a difference between expression and indulgence. Expression transforms emotion. Indulgence feeds it. To find the balance, let yourself feel without judgment. Name the emotion clearly. I feel anxious. I feel angry. Move it into a productive form. Writing, sketching, journaling, movement. Once expressed, let it go. Don't reattach to the story. Creativity is not emotional escape. It's emotional alchemy. Step 5. The emotional flow connection. Flow and emotion are deeply intertwined. To enter flow, your brain needs a mix of arousal and safety. Enough excitement to stay alert, enough calm to stay focused. Emotions like curiosity, challenge, and passion naturally trigger dopamine and norepinephrine, the very chemicals that drive flow. That's why you can't fake great work. Your brain knows when you don't care. To activate emotional flow, choose projects that personally matter. Set challenges that excite you, not just tasks to complete. Connect your daily work to something emotionally meaningful. Growth, mastery, contribution, expression. When you align your emotions with your mission, flow becomes effortless. Step 6. Transform negative energy. Not all emotions feel pleasant, but all of them are useful. In fact, the most powerful creative breakthroughs often come from discomfort, from turning pain into purpose. Anger becomes clarity. Fear becomes focus. Sadness becomes empathy. Shame becomes self-awareness. The key is to feel, then reframe. Ask, how can I use this energy? What truth is hiding inside this feeling? Pain only becomes poison when it's suppressed. When you channel it, it becomes propulsion. Think of your emotional life as a current. When it flows freely, it fuels creation. When it stagnates, it suffocates it. Step 7. Build emotional habits that support flow. To sustain long-term creativity, you must manage emotional energy as intentionally as physical energy. Here are daily habits to regulate your emotional flow. Morning grounding. Start the day with stillness or journaling to stabilize mood. Midday movement. Exercise or stretch to release emotional tension. Evening reflection. Note one emotion you felt strongly and how you used it. Breathwork. Slow breathing resets emotional balance in minutes. The goal isn't emotional control, it's emotional literacy. To understand, guide, and use your emotions, not to be ruled by them. Step 8. Emotion gives art its edge. All great art, every song, painting, film, invention, carries emotional charge. It's not just skill that moves people, it's truth. When you create from emotion, you stop making pretty things and start making real things. You communicate directly with the subconscious of others, because emotion is the universal language. A technically perfect creation without emotion feels hollow. A flawed creation filled with emotion feels alive. That's the difference between talent and connection. Emotion bridges that gap. Emotion gives art its edge and thought its originality. Step 9. The practice of emotional alchemy. Learning to use emotions as energy is not a one-time shift. It's a lifelong discipline that you'll still face storms, distractions, and internal noise. But every time you pause, name what you feel, and turn it into something tangible, you strengthen emotional mastery. Here's the framework to practice. Notice it. What emotion is present? Name it. Give it language to reduce its chaos. Channel it. Move it into action. Writing, movement, music, design. Release it. Let go once expressed. This process transforms emotional turbulence into creative power. The emotion energy formula. Emotion equals signal. Notice the feeling. Expression equals channel. Move it into your craft. Reflection equals meaning. Learn what it taught you. Release equals freedom. Detach and reset. Every emotion carries creative data. Anger, curiosity, sadness, joy. Instead of suppressing emotion, channel it into work. Emotion gives art its edge and thought its originality. Because emotion is not your weakness. It's your frequency. When you learn to tune it, you stop creating from your mind and start creating from your soul. Chapter 10. Capture ideas immediately. Ideas are fragile. They arrive unannounced, whisper soft, shimmering for a moment before dissolving into the noise of your next thought. You can't rely on memory to hold them, because the mind that creates is not the mind that remembers. Flow produces rapid insights. Don't trust memory to hold them. When you're in flow, your brain operates in a unique chemical and neurological state. It connects patterns faster, leaps between ideas more freely, and forms associations that don't appear in normal consciousness. But these ideas come in flashes, and if not captured immediately, they vanish. The creators who master their craft aren't necessarily the most inspired. They're the ones who catch inspiration before it disappears. The rule is simple. Capture now, organize later. Step 1. The science of idea decay. When your brain produces a new idea, it's not yet stored as long-term memory. It exists in a temporary workspace, short-term memory, which fades within seconds unless reinforced. Every time you think, "I'll remember that later," your brain silently replies, "No, you won't." Research shows that after just a few minutes, over 70% of spontaneous insights are lost if not written or recorded. The creative mind moves too fast for recall because during flow, your focus is on generating, not storing. That's why the world's top creators keep capture tools everywhere, because they understand that the difference between a fleeting thought and a life-changing idea is just recording it in time. Step 2. Build your capture system. You need a simple, always accessible system for idea capture. One that works instantly, wherever you are. Here's how to design it. Primary device. Choose one main capture tool you'll always have on you. Digital. Notes app, Notion, Google Keep, or voice memos. Analog. A small pocket notebook and pen. What matters most is speed. How quickly can you get the idea out of your head? Secondary system. Have backups in places where ideas often strike. Next to your bed, in your bag, in your car. Uniform naming. Label every entry with the same format, idea plus date, so you can easily retrieve it later. Capture, don't curate. Your capture tool isn't for organizing, it's for catching. Think of it as a creative net, not a filing cabinet. The best system is the one you can use with zero friction. Step 3, the 10-second rule. When idea strikes, act within 10 seconds. Write it, record it, or type it. Anything longer, and your rational brain starts interfering. I'll do it later. It's not that important. I'll remember. You won't. That 10-second rule trains your brain to value immediacy, to honor the creative impulse as sacred. Because the longer you hesitate, the faster the insight fades. Flow moves at lightning speed. Your capture must too. Step 4. Capture in motion. Ideas rarely arrive when you're sitting at your desk waiting for them. They appear while you're walking, driving, showering, or falling asleep. Moments when your subconscious is most active. That's why your system must work anywhere, anytime. Examples. Voice notes. Dictate ideas while driving or walking. Tone captures emotion that text can't. Journaling. Keep a small notebook near your bed for nighttime ideas. Sticky notes. Scatter them near creative zones like your workspace or studio. Don't worry about form or neatness. The goal is to preserve the spark. You can always organize the fire later. Step 5. Review and refine. Capturing ideas is only half the process. The other half is revisiting them. Once a week, schedule a review session. Go through all notes, recordings, and scribbles. Delete duplicates, group related ideas, and highlight the ones worth developing. Move strong ideas to your main creative system, digital folder, project file, or journal section. This step transforms raw fragments into usable building blocks. It's how isolated sparks become structured projects. Over time, this habit builds a personal idea bank, a vault of thoughts you can draw from whenever inspiration feels low. You'll never face a creative drought again because you've been collecting rain every day. Step 6. Capture emotional context. When you record an idea, don't just capture the thought, capture the feeling. Write a few words describing the emotion behind it. Excited, angry, peaceful, urgent. Emotion is the compass that tells you why an idea matters. When you revisit it later, those notes help you reconnect to the original spark, the energy that made the idea worth saving. Ideas without emotion are data. Ideas with emotion are direction. Step 7. Reduce friction to 0. The main reason people don't capture ideas is friction. Too many steps, too little time. Simplify your system so much that there's no excuse not to use it. Ask yourself, can I access it in 3 seconds? Can I capture something in under 10? Can I find it later in under 30? If the answer is no, simplify again, because the creative brain hates delay. Every unnecessary step invites distraction. Remember, the perfect system isn't the most sophisticated, it's the most used. Step 8. Trust the process, not memory. Your mind is a terrible storage unit, but an extraordinary processing engine. When you trust it to store, it clogs. When you offload to a system, it frees up bandwidth for creation. By capturing ideas consistently, you send your brain a clear message. I will not waste inspiration. This builds psychological safety. Your subconscious becomes more willing to offer insights because it knows you'll respect and record them. The more you capture, the more ideas flow. Inspiration rewards reliability. Step 9. The creative momentum effect. Every time you capture an idea, you preserve momentum. Every time you lose one, you slow down your internal rhythm. Think of creativity as an electrical current. Each captured idea strengthens the flow. Each lost one weakens it. Momentum compounds. Ideas connect, evolve, and multiply. That's how one small note at midnight can become a full book, a song, or a business. Creativity is not a single spark. It's the accumulation of sparks that were kept alive. Step 10. Turn capturing into identity. Don't just try to capture ideas. Become someone who always does. Make it part of your creative identity. I'm a person who never lets inspiration go uncaptured. This small shift changes everything. It builds consistency, discipline, and respect for your own genius. Because ideas are like guests. If you welcome them, they'll visit often. If you ignore them, they stop knocking. The idea capture framework. Act fast. Record ideas within seconds. Use one system: notes, journal, or voice memos. Capture emotion. Preserve the energy, not just the words. Review weekly. Refine, categorize, expand. Make it identity. Capturing is who you are, not what you do. Flow produces rapid insights. Don't trust memory to hold them. Use a capture system: notes app, journal, or voice memo. The faster you record, the more creative momentum you preserve. Because creativity doesn't reward the thinker. It rewards the catcher. Don't let brilliance slip away into forgetfulness. Catch it, keep it, and build your world from it. One captured spark at a time. Chapter 11. Surround yourself with stimuli that spark ideas. Creativity doesn't grow in isolation. It grows in exposure. Your mind can only connect the dots that it has collected. The richer and more diverse those dots are, the greater your capacity for insight, innovation, and originality. Inspiration thrives on input. Expose yourself to art, books, environments, and people who think differently. Every creative spark is born from collision, where two unrelated ideas meet and form something new. That's not magic. That's cross-pollination. Creativity is connection. More dots mean more breakthroughs. The world's greatest thinkers don't just consume more information. They consume diverse information. They move between disciplines, cultures, perspectives, and experiences, feeding their subconscious an endless buffet of inspiration. You can't expect extraordinary output from ordinary input. To think like no one else, you have to expose yourself to what no one else sees. Step 1. The law of creative input. Your creativity is a reflection of your mental diet. Just as the body becomes what it eats, the mind becomes what it consumes. If you only feed your brain with repetitive, predictable content, same topics, same opinions, same algorithms, your creativity starves. But when you diversify your inputs, your brain forms new neural pathways, connecting previously unrelated concepts into original ideas. Psychologists call this associative creativity, the ability to link separate ideas into something novel. The more varied your mental library, the richer your associations. So if you want to spark ideas, stop chasing originality directly. Chase variety. Step 2. Expose yourself to contradiction. The fastest way to break creative stagnation is to encounter something that contradicts your current worldview. Your brain resists at first, discomfort, confusion, disagreement. But that friction is the birthplace of creativity. When you read, listen, or engage with perspectives opposite to yours, your mind starts asking questions. Why do they think that? What if both are true? What if neither is? That questioning opens mental doors. Don't just seek confirmation, seek confrontation. Explore books, podcasts, and people that challenge your assumptions. Because comfort reinforces the known. Contradiction reveals the new. Step 3. Practice cross-pollination. The most powerful ideas often come from borrowing brilliance from unrelated fields. A filmmaker studies architecture for composition and rhythm. A software engineer learns from jazz improvisation about adaptability. A writer explores biology to understand systems and growth. A designer reads history to see patterns of human behavior. Innovation lives at the intersections. When you mix disciplines, your mind becomes a creative ecosystem, each field fertilizing the others. So make it a habit. Each month, immerse yourself in one subject completely outside your main field. You don't have to master it. Just understand its principles, patterns, and language. Your subconscious will take it from there, linking those lessons to your core craft in unexpected ways. Cross-pollinate ideas from unrelated fields. Step 4. Build a stimulus environment. If your physical or digital world is repetitive, your thoughts will be too. To stay creatively alive, design an environment that constantly feeds inspiration. Visual stimuli. Surround yourself with art, color, and movement. Rotate what's on your walls, posters, quotes, photography, to keep your senses alert. Auditory stimuli. Experiment with new soundscapes, ambient, nature sounds, instrumental, or silence. Each shifts your mood differently. Cognitive stimuli. Keep a mix of books, fiction, nonfiction, science, poetry. Let them collide on your shelf. Social stimuli. Spend time with people who think differently, not just people who agree with you. Conversation is one of the purest forms of idea exchange. The goal isn't constant stimulation, it's intentional variation. Your environment should whisper curiosity, not chaos. Creativity breathes best in spaces designed for discovery. Step 5. The power of people. People are living libraries. Every person you meet carries a lifetime of stories, lessons, and experiences your brain can't imagine. Seek conversations that stretch you. Talk to artists about their process, engineers about their systems, travelers about their perspective, elders about their wisdom. The more perspectives you absorb, the wider your creative lens becomes. But don't just listen, ask better questions. What's something you've changed your mind about? What's a problem in your field that no one's solved yet? What did failure teach you that success never could? These questions unlock stories that spark insight. Not because you're copying someone else's idea, but because their experience triggers connections in your brain that wouldn't exist otherwise. Your network isn't just about opportunity. It's about mental diversity. Step 6. Travel without moving. You don't need to board a plane to expand your perspective. You can travel mentally every day. Watch documentaries about worlds far from your own. Read fiction from authors in different cultures. Explore local places you've never visited, a new cafe, a museum, a park. Change your route to work, your playlist, your daily rhythm. Each small shift wakes up your brain's novelty circuits, areas that activate dopamine and curiosity. Creativity thrives on novelty because it signals something new is happening. Pay attention. So don't just live your routine, interrupt it. Every disruption is an invitation for discovery. Step 7. Limit passive consumption. There's a difference between feeding your creativity and stuffing your mind. Too much input, especially mindless scrolling or entertainment, leads to saturation, a cluttered mind that can't distinguish signal from noise. Input is only powerful when it's processed. That means after every period of consumption, pause to reflect. What stood out to me? What emotion did it spark? How could this connect to what I'm creating? By pausing to digest, you convert raw data into inspiration. Otherwise, you're just filling your mind's storage, not fueling its imagination. Step 8. Curate your information diet. Just like food, not all information is nourishing. Be intentional about what you consume. Read deeply, not just widely. A few powerful ideas understood deeply can transform your thinking more than dozens of shallow ones. Diversify sources. Avoid echo chambers. Seek opposing voices, new genres, different mediums. Protect mental space. Unfollow accounts or content that drain your energy or dull your focus. Curation is not restriction, it's optimization. It ensures that what enters your mind adds value, perspective, or beauty. You are not just what you think. You are what you let in to think about. Step 9. Connect the dots daily. Exposure alone isn't enough. You must link what you've learned. Each evening or week, ask, what connections did I notice between unrelated things? Write down at least one link, however strange, between two fields, ideas, or experiences. Maybe a conversation reminded you of a movie plot. Maybe a book about architecture revealed something about storytelling. These microlinks train your brain for creative synthesis, the art of connecting things no one else sees as related. Creativity is connection. More dots mean more breakthroughs. Step 10. Live like a collector. Approach the world with a collector's mindset. Every detail, a phrase, an image, a moment could be raw material for a future creation. Carry curiosity like a camera, always ready to capture the unseen beauty around you. Don't judge whether something is useful now. Collect first, connect later. Because the ideas that transform your life rarely appear in order. They arrive scattered, waiting for you to gather them into something extraordinary. The stimulus formula for creativity. Diversify input. Consume across genres, cultures, and fields. Curate intentionally. Choose quality over quantity. Engage people. Seek out perspectives that challenge you. Change environment. Keep surroundings dynamic and inspiring. Reflect and connect. Regularly link unrelated ideas. Inspiration thrives on input. Expose yourself to art, books, environments, and people who think differently. Cross-pollinate ideas from unrelated fields. Creativity is connection. More dots mean more breakthroughs. Because imagination doesn't invent from nothing. It rearranges everything. Feed your mind with wonder, and it will feed the world with originality. Chapter 12. Build a life that supports flow. The flow state isn't a lucky accident. It's the result of a well-designed life. You can't depend on inspiration to visit randomly. You have to build conditions where focus, peace, and creativity thrive automatically. Most people chase flow in bursts, a few inspired hours, a weekend project, a sudden creative surge. But true mastery begins when flow becomes not an event, but a way of living. The flow state can't survive in chaos. Structure sustains creativity. Protect solitude, boundaries, and focus like assets. The goal isn't temporary flow. It's a flow-based lifestyle. Because creativity isn't about working harder. It's about designing your environment, habits, and mind to work effortlessly. Step 1. Understand the flow ecosystem. Flow isn't just a mental state. It's an ecosystem. It requires balance across 3 dimensions. Inner environment, mind clarity, emotional stability, purpose. Outer environment, space order, minimal distraction, comfort. Temporal environment, time rhythms, routines, and recovery. If one of these breaks, flow collapses. You can't enter deep focus if your mind is scattered, your space is noisy, or your schedule is chaotic. Flow thrives where systems exist. Not rigid control, but intentional structure. Structure doesn't imprison creativity. It protects it. It removes decision fatigue, chaos, and wasted motion, the enemies of deep work. Step 2. Design your daily rhythm. To sustain long-term creativity, you need rhythm, a repeating pattern of effort, recovery, and reflection. Think of your day as an orchestra, different movements, each serving a purpose. Morning, activation. Start slow, calm, and clear. Avoid rushing into noise. Instead, ground yourself, stretch, meditate, walk, or journal. Morning is when your brain has the highest dopamine levels and minimal distraction, perfect for creative flow. Midday execution. Protect your first 3 to 4 working hours as sacred deep work time. No meetings, no messages, no multitasking. Use your pre-work ritual from Chapter 3 and 90-minute focus blocks from Chapter 4. Afternoon, regeneration. As energy dips, shift to lighter tasks, review, research, or admin work. Take nature or movement breaks to recharge. Evening, reflection. Detach from performance mode. Journal insights, plan the next day, and rest intentionally. When your time aligns with your energy cycles, flow becomes predictable, not accidental. Step 3. Protect solitude like oxygen. Creativity demands mental stillness. In a world addicted to noise, solitude has become a superpower. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's the absence of distraction long enough for self-dialogue to emerge. It's in solitude that ideas surface, patterns connect, and intuition speaks. Make solitude a daily practice. Block at least 1 hour a day with no external input. Silence your devices. Sit, walk, or think without agenda. The most creative people in history, from Einstein to Virginia Woolf, understood this truth. Without solitude, there is no originality. Protect it fiercely. Schedule it like you would a meeting with your future self, because that's exactly what it is. Step 4. Build boundaries around focus. Your attention is your most valuable currency, and everyone wants to spend it for you. If you don't guard it, it's gone. Set clear boundaries for when and how you engage with the world. Device boundaries. No phone during creative blocks. Notifications off. Apps deleted if necessary. Time boundaries. Fixed work hours. After that, you disconnect. Access boundaries. Limit who can interrupt you. Protect your mental space from reactive conversations. You are not being rude when you set boundaries. You are being responsible. Boundaries don't reduce your freedom. They preserve it. Because when everything can reach you, nothing can move through you. Step 5. Curate your environment for focus. Your surroundings are silent architects of your mental state. If your environment is chaotic, your focus will be too. To build a flow-friendly space. Minimize clutter. Keep only what serves or inspires you. Control lighting. Natural light during the day, warm lighting at night. Optimize ergonomics. Comfort sustains attention longer than intensity. Incorporate nature. Plants, wood textures, or even a window view can restore calm. Create visual cues. A candle, a playlist, or a specific workspace that signals focus mode. Your environment should quietly say, "This is where great work happens." Step 6. Align your life with your purpose. You can't live in flow if your goals contradict your values. When your actions feel misaligned, resistance builds. Your subconscious won't commit to what it doesn't believe in. Ask yourself, why am I doing this work? Does it move me closer to who I want to become? Would I still do it without external validation? When your external actions reflect your internal truth, energy becomes effortless. Flow thrives on alignment. Misalignment leaks it. Purpose doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be authentic. Step 7. Manage energy, not just time. A flow-based life isn't about working more. It's about managing energy intelligently. Time is linear. Energy is cyclical. Learn your energy rhythm. When do you feel most creative? When do you feel most analytical? When do you need recovery? Schedule tasks accordingly. Don't force deep work during energy lows. That's how burnout begins. Use recovery as a tool, not an afterthought. See Chapter 8. Remember, rest is the foundation of consistency. Flow isn't sustained through discipline alone. It's sustained through renewal. Step 8. Surround yourself with flow-minded people. The company you keep affects your creative chemistry. When you're around focused, inspired individuals, you absorb their energy. When you're surrounded by chaos, you unconsciously mirror it. Seek people who protect their time, who create with purpose, who challenge and support your growth. If your environment doesn't nurture focus, build a new one. Join communities that value depth, curiosity, and craft. Mentorship, accountability partners, or creative peers will multiply your momentum. Flow expands through connection, but only the right kind of connection. Step 9. Make simplicity a habit. Complexity kills consistency. Every extra decision, when to work, where to sit, what to focus on, drains cognitive energy before you even start. Simplify your creative process until it feels frictionless. Same place, same time, same start cue as in Chapter 3. Fix tools and templates. Clear goals for each session. The simpler your systems, the easier your entry into flow. The goal isn't rigidity, it's repeatability. So your brain learns to enter deep focus automatically without negotiation. Step 10. Redefine success as consistency. The world measures success by output. Word counts, sales, followers. But a flow-based life measures success by alignment and consistency. Did you honor your rhythm today? Did you protect your attention? Did you create something true? These questions matter more than metrics. Because the external world rewards results, but the internal world rewards rhythm. When your days align with your nature, success becomes sustainable. Step 11. Build long-term flow habits. To make flow your lifestyle, you must turn scattered practices into automatic rituals. Here's the sequence that anchors it. Clarity. Define your goals and purpose. Preparation. Create environment and rituals for focus. Execution. Enter flow with full attention. Reflection. Capture insights and adjust systems. Recovery. Rest, recharge, repeat. Over time, this rhythm becomes self-sustaining, like a tide that rises and falls without force. Flow stops being something you get into. It becomes something you live within. Step 12. Flow is a way of being. The ultimate goal isn't to chase flow moments. It's to evolve into a flow state of life, where your work, values, and habits harmonize into one continuous motion. You wake with clarity. You create with depth. You rest with peace. The chaos of multitasking fades. The anxiety of comparison quiets. Every day becomes part of one seamless creative rhythm, a life where meaning and mastery coexist. That's the flow-based lifestyle, not a peak, but a pattern. The flow lifestyle framework. Structure. Design your days for rhythm, not randomness. Solitude. Guard time for thought and stillness. Boundaries. Protect your focus from external noise. Alignment. Live and create according to your values. Simplicity. Automate what drains energy. Consistency. Measure success by rhythm, not outcome. The flow state can't survive in chaos. Structure sustains creativity. Protect solitude, boundaries, and focus like assets. The goal isn't temporary flow. It's a flow-based lifestyle. Because creativity isn't something you find. It's something you build your life around. When every part of your day supports your deepest focus, flow stops being a moment and becomes your way of being. Flow is not magic, it's mastery. Every time you clear space, silence doubt, and enter deep focus, you're proving that creativity isn't a gift, it's a habit. You've learned how to design rituals, manage energy, embrace challenge, and channel emotion. You now understand how to capture ideas in motion and how to turn inspiration into consistent output. The creative flow state is not a one-time moment. It's a way of living. When your mind, body, and emotion align, ideas come effortlessly. You stop chasing inspiration and start channeling it. Create daily. Enter flow often. Protect your energy fiercely. Because the world doesn't need another distracted mind. It needs more focused creators. So don't wait for the perfect idea. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for permission. Build your own rhythm and flow with it until your creativity becomes unstoppable. This is how world-class creators work. Calm, consistent, and infinitely inspired. Now it's your turn to create from flow and never run out of inspiration again.